Day's play. I must tell you though, it's overcast here and pretty gloomy as well. So I think we might have one of those days when the players come on and off the field. But in between those, I think we're going to see some wonderful, wonderful cricket. Now the pitch has played perhaps yesterday as well as at any stage in this test match, and Shoaib Akhtar showed us exactly how good it was. He played a brilliant, brilliant innings. Let's have a look to see what it'll play like on this fourth day with Robin Jackman.
Despite Sean Pollock's heroic efforts yesterday afternoon, taking 5 wickets and bowling South Africa back in with a real chance in this game, Shoaib Akhtar's 100 has virtually made sure that South Africa are going to have to score the highest score of the match in order to win it. So, Mushtaq Ahmed, he must be the danger man on day 4. Let's look at what he's got to work with. The area outside the leg stump of the right-hander and the off stump of the left-hander, where the bowlers have run onto the pitch in perfectly fair places, they haven't encroached anywhere, is going to give those batsmen a little bit of a problem. We also saw that even when he worked on day 2, when Mushtaq was bowling on the flatter parts of the pitch, he still turned the ball fairly prodigiously. So I see him as a real danger man in terms of a Pakistani win. South Africa, I believe, need to come out with a positive attitude. And every time we've seen a batsman adopt that attitude, this pitch has played pretty well. We saw yesterday 1 or 2 balls seam, which we hadn't seen for the first 3 days. And that was mostly, though, off the cracks that still are in this pitch. But they haven't got any wider from yesterday. A good day's cricket ahead, an exciting day's cricket ahead, a positive attitude, who knows? I wouldn't like to put money on who's going to win.
Well, he hit 2 beautiful shots through the covers yesterday, and he has another one, and that's 4 runs.
It was a half volley, but he chose the gap beautifully. He likes the shot, keen to play it, swung his arms nice and freely, but he waited just to the perfect time and was able to get it into the gap between Ackerman and Bacher.
Is he caught? Now, did he get a hand to it? It was a very, very valiant effort indeed by Gary Kirsten.
Well, this was a brilliant attempt, but once again frustration for the South Africans. Gary Kirsten making yards to his left, lifting it here as he jumps to play the shot, diving and just getting a hand to it, fingers to it rather than hand, and it dropping down. At the same time, off he goes. He sets off and was a good 15 meters down the pitch before he had to turn back.
Now they're taking a very cheeky single. There'll be an appeal for a run out, and umpire Dave Orchard has asked the third umpire, Rudy Kutsen, to adjudicate on this. I think the South Africans feel they've got their man, and that was a silly run by Mushtaq Ahmed. It really was.
Yes, it certainly was, and one doesn't know quite what he was thinking about. Pat Simcox was relatively close in here. Look at where he picks the ball up and just lobs the ball, and he's a good way out, and that's a silly mistake by Mushtaq Ahmed, and Pakistan are now 9 wickets down for 226.
Yes, he's just played one splendid cover drive for 4, and whatever possessed him to go scampering away, and he played defensively, and he was almost posing in the shot before he suddenly decided, for whatever reason, he wanted to take a run. And full credit to the old man, Pat Simcox. He closed in quickly, and his underarm throw was accurate, and Mushtaq Ahmed is run out for 20, 9 for 226. Well done, Patrick Leonard Simcox. Good bit of fielding, and just what South Africa wanted. One early wicket, and now try and wrap it up, and so their target kept down to a minimum.
Well, sometimes the mid-on is fairly deep, he's saving 1, but on this occasion Pat Simcox was never at that far away, and when he actually lobbed the ball in, he was only a meter or 2 from the stumps. In the pubs afterwards, and for many years, he'll say probably 30 meters, and when he actually lobbed the ball in, he was only a meter or 2 from the stumps. Applause for at the end of the over for Pat Simcox when he went down to his position at third man. Of course, this is his home now. Originally a boy from Kimberley and then Pretoria, but now an Italian, and all of the youngsters giving him a great round of applause.
Pollock to Fazal. Wake up call.
He was rather late on that one, missed the first alarm bell, and then suddenly said, whoops, better get down under that. Perhaps a call here for Adam Bacher to move into backward short leg instead of square leg.
And this is should be caught and is. And South Africa has done just what they wanted. They've wrapped up this Pakistani innings very, very quickly. And he thought he might take a little chance there and try and go over the infield, because there were men on the offside in a row and on the onside looking after the single just to keep him down on strike, but he tried to go over the top and miscued it altogether. Lance Klusener taking a nice catch. Not easy this, because it was coming over his left shoulder, but he took it very, very well indeed. And so 6 wickets for Shaun Pollock, and Hudson delighted too. First to congratulate Lance Klusener, and Fazal out for a duck. And so 226 all out Pakistan, which means they have a lead of 254. South Africa will require 255 to win.
Thirsty? Limca! Take it easy.
Hey, take it easy.
The first test was smeared with controversy. South Africa.
It's in the air. He's caught.
Pakistan. Both teams are getting down to business in the second.
Off the mark. Strange fielding position that man was in. Wasn't saving one, wasn't catching, wasn't on the boundary. Quite know what he was doing there. The man who was on a pair. Massa Hale obviously has to attack to begin with. Adam Bacher. Just 24 innings in 13 test matches. Twice he's missed out in terms of getting to the coveted 3 figures. Both times on 96. There, out. There's the first appeal. Just nipped back a little bit. Bacher's not got very far forward, and he hasn't got off the mark either.
And what a breakthrough for Pakistan and this young man, as it did in the first innings when he got rid of Gary Kirsten, picking up the wicket, and certainly this one pitching within the stumps and going on to just hitting below the roll, not very forward, and the umpire had to decide whether or not it did enough to hit the stumps or whether it did more than enough to miss the next stump. Back in the pavilion, first wicket down for South Africa.
Yeah, that looked pretty good to me when it all happened. It's the opportunity, the only opportunity the umpire has to make his decision. Bacher out for naught. South Africa 2 for 1. Jacques Kallis to the crease. Just 22 years of age. Only playing in his 11th test match. That average creeping up. When he went to Australia, he was averaging around about 14. And that 101 in Melbourne. This just did a great deal. Driven away by Kirsten, nicely timed. Hot pursuit, but in vain.
First boundary for the South Africans. And this time Waka Yunus giving Gary Kirsten enough space to place that shot, and he did that wonderfully well, beautifully timed, and in vain Amir Sohail couldn't stop that boundary.
Driven away, backward a square for 4. South Africa 11 for 1.
Just one other 50. He's gone for his shot here and he's brought it off magnificently. It was short, he was quickly into position, and he hooks it away backward a square for 4.
Again, he went right back, he picked it up early, placed it well, good shot for 4.
And this is beautifully played through mid-wicket, 4 runs. Got his weight up nicely. Angry with himself for just straying onto middle and leg, and he's got to bowl very accurately because the field that he's got placed for him is a 7-2 field, just the 2 men on the onside, one at a wideish mid-on and the fine leg, so there's a huge gap from mid-on right round to fine leg. So another easy run, once again straying onto the leg side, put a bit more into that one, and it climbed awkwardly on Gary Kirsten, but there's no forward short leg, so he wasn't in any real danger. Brilliantly stopped in the gully. Well, the bounce was right that time, and he played the shot well, but Azam Mahmood made a sensational stop in the gully.
That's a shot again, placed. Certainly would have been a 4, but well fielded there.
Going round the wicket, of course, to Gary Kirsten, and Gary Kirsten rocks onto the back foot and gets this one away for 4, square on the offside. Good shot that.
It was short, and he placed it well. That was a good shot. Again, it works with the length. If you watch the length well, you're able to play the shot and place them.
They'll wait for at least 1. They'll look for 2. Get it comfortably.
So much tension, isn't there? The tempo raised quite noticeably when Mushtaq started his first over of the day. Shoaib, the 5-wicket man in the first innings, is also one to worry about. But it's a day for heroes. Pitch is good, the sun is shining, and let's stick our necks out, Robin. South Africa to win.
Don't quite know what that's all about. Couldn't have got his hands any higher.
And certainly, if Dave Orchard had given that out LBW, there would have been an inquiry.
It's the unpredictable bounce that Leo Irwin was referring to. That's hit the thigh pad. You saw the puff of dirt there. Ah, no, that's sublime to the ridiculous, eh?
Well, you know, this is the sort of thing, and I'm surprised they don't realize it, but it is actually going to turn the umpires off. No umpire likes this sort of intimidation, and Dave Orchard's very calm, and he's been there. He'll know what it's like, and they're going to get no change out of him.
Driven firmly, but defensive fielder, and that's good captaincy. That man back there is allowing Mushtaq to get it right up to Gary Kirsten. in that danger area that we've just been discussing. When he over pitches slightly and gets driven firmly, it's only one. Not out.
And nowhere near out. So you saw the histrionics of the Pakistan fielders to a man going up. But look how far this one pitches outside leg stump. Even though it's straightened, it may have hit. There's no hope that that ball could have been considered an LBW because of it pitching outside leg stump.
Uh-oh, put down. Now, how expensive is that going to be?
Well, he has dropped some easy ones. That wasn't by any means that easy. He was coming forward, but there's no doubt that he should have taken it. Look, the change of pace here, and the ball lifting for quite a long time, and he quite comfortably should have taken that. And then as his arm goes forward in the fall, it just bounces the ball out.
Strangely enough, too, having put that short extra cover in, he went himself a little bit deeper. Had the short extra cover not gone in, there he is there in picture, Sohail would have been 4 or 5 yards nearer and wouldn't have had to even dive. Gary Kirsten was dropped in the first innings in the first over and didn't survive that over. Wonder how well he can capitalise on this miss in the second innings.
Mushtaq Ahmed was the culprit there, routine first step catch. But here you can see how he's on one knee when it hits the hands, and he should have caught that.
Over. West Country accent of Merv Kitchen, 37 for 1.
So it's well run in the end. He knew exactly what he was wanting to do there, Gary Kirsten. They'd been tied down, and he'd worked out that if I play and run at the same time to Waka Yunus's left at mid-off, I can get a single, and that's how it worked out.
Yes, he made it comfortably in the end, and that was the first run scored in the 8th over. They had a string of maidens. Very still, very straight, Kirsten, and the moment he played that, he called for the run, and in the end making it comfortably.
Oh, ball Mushy. Brilliant bowling, Mush.
This is played in the gap between the wide mid-on and the backward square leg, and they're able to get 2. They want a third. They have to hurry, do so. Good running. Syed Anwar, the man who set off after it.
Nicely played and good running. Converted the 2 into 3. Gary Kirsten. First time Azhar Mahmood pitching the ball middle and leg, giving Gary Kirsten enough to play on the onside. And
up they go, and there's the finger, and Mushtaq has got Gary Kirsten caught in that silly mid-off or silly point position, and that's a very big blow for Pakistan and a big blow for South Africa.
what a big wicket that one. And I think the fielder there under the helmet is Rashid Latif, the tour captain. Mushtaq once again pitching in the rough there. Gary Kirsten coming in the front on the front foot, first hitting the pad and then going on to hit the bat. And Rashid Latif jumping in the air, and I promise you the man most relieved must be Amir Suhail, who had dropped him earlier on. South Africa losing their second wicket for 42.
Gary Kirsten makes his way up the stairs, a long walk to the dressing room. This is why bat and pad close together, but a bit of both, and The tour captain, Rashid Latif, absolutely delighted. The way he's leaping around there, nothing wrong with his back at all.
And the interesting thing to see was the first man congratulating him was Amir Suhail.
It was a sharp chance, a good catch. Suhail and Rashid Latif, the two captains, doing a little jig. He's been in tremendous form, has H.D. Ackerman this season. Over 1,000 runs in domestic 4-day cricket. 25 years old and at 57. A good start to his test career. Came into the test match having made 400s in 4 successive matches in the Supersport series. Another look at the joy for Pakistan. Rashid Latif closing his hands round that one. Very good first delivery from Mushtaq to the new batsman, bowling him the googly, and he got some bounce out of that one.
Well, it's a different game now, totally different. First delivery to Ackerman there, the wrong one, which I suspect he didn't read, finding that gap between the bat and the pad, just clipping the top of the pad. And that is magnificent bowling.
Fortunate for him, it just bounced too much on that occasion.
Oh, great bowling dear. Brilliant bowling.
Well, he's hit that fairly positively. Just the one bounce 4.
That wouldn't be a bad idea to play shots like that. Yes, he was given a short one. It was the googly again, so he hit it with the spin. Watch the turn here, upright pitches. He obviously read it and hit it nicely into the gap. Great shots of catch it from the Pakistanis, but really no chance of a dismissal. Those shots were more to discourage the batsman doing it again.
Oh, he's given him out. Shark Cullis's body language there was maybe agreeing with umpire Orchard. Just took that half a step and then hung about. Orchard said, no, you nicked it, off you go.
Soft dismissal this, because it was outside leg stump. More or less just tried to push it away, and rather unluckily, if he did get a nick, got a faint one. Yes, it looked as if it was almost off the face, and therefore didn't deflect much. Good catching by Moen, and a very, very good decision by umpire Orchard.
Tremendous catch that by Moen Khan. So Jacques Cullis's innings of 22 in 89 deliveries, very nearly 2 hours, comes to an end, and South Africa now struggling, 49 for 3. Andrew Hudson, 34 test matches, 47 short of 2,000 test runs, averaging just under 35. Sweeps straight away, off the glove, over the keeper's head. In the end of another very successful over, both for Mushtaq and for Pakistan. 49 for 3. That's runs. We'll see whether it's bat or pad in a moment. Pad. Valuable runs though.
Now the bowler's head went down as he realised that he'd bowled a loose one of the rare loose deliveries that he has bowled. But even more frustrating that it was punished.
Oh, that's a great delivery.
Well, Mushtaq knows that Andrew Hudson likes to get onto the front foot. Just off this one marginally shorter. And watch it bounce.
Bowling Boucher.
Andrew Hudson's first move. Well, look at that. Keeper taking it as it went over his right shoulder.
Bowling Boucher, brilliant bowling.
Googly.
Brilliant bowling Boucher. Bowling in!
It's good running.
Well, that's more like it. Well done, HD. He knew that the man running towards the ball was left-handed, so he would need to turn and throw, which would have taken extra time. Crowd support super. Easy run in the end.
Firm push. We'll see if there was any bat involved. No. That's precisely what Lee Irwin was talking about. Not a bad tactic. You go firmly at the ball. That man is so close in there. He's got to at least take a little bit of a back step or blink his eyes or something.
If he'd made any contact whatsoever, it could have virtually knocked his head off. That was really off the pad, and look, he has no chance.
He's gone back a yard already.
Googly, and he pushes it here virtually off the splice of the bat. Left hand firmly on the ball, not able to get a good grasp on it. There we go. That's just an indication of how close they are now. I get the feeling if they were a metre further back, they could take that coming forward and have a better chance.
It's nicely played. They'll look for two and get him.
Now he looked so much more comfortable playing that shot because he just opened up a little to allow for the swing, whereas before he's almost been trying to play the ball too straight. Watch how he leans into this one there, just opening up nicely. If he keeps doing that, he'll gain in confidence.
Oh, this is going down to the third man boundary, but it was a streaky shot. There, remember, a slip and a gully in there, and I think it went between them. Amir Sahel on his knees. He's the first slip. Now, where did this exactly go? It might have been a bit too full for him to play the cut shot. Yeah, right between the two of them, slip and gully.
In fact, he hit it onto the ground in between the two slips.
So 4 streaky runs puts him up to 9. HD Ackerman. That again was edgy. And this time the gully does stop it. It fell short of him.
Not very sure about himself, HD Ackerman. Twice he has played 2 very risky shots there.
As you feel that something could happen every ball from the bowling of Mushtaq. But Hudson likes it coming onto the bat. That was a very, very lovely shot. Straight back down the ground for 4.
Handsome looking shot, that one. Ball coming into him and right down to the pitch of that delivery, driving it past the bowler. Straight to the fence. The meat of the bat, superb looking shot.
That's when he's at his best, Andrew Hudson, when he presents the full face of the bat and hits the ball in the V. On that occasion, straight back past the stumps down at the bowler's end. Well, they go up for the catch, but the umpire says not on this occasion. It was a very good effort by the fielder as HD Ackerman gave him the charge here. That's an indication of how desperate HD Ackerman is getting in terms of trying to cope with Mushtaq Ahmed, and he gave him the charge, got down there, but the umpire ruling it came only off the pad. Is this LBW? It is. It was almost inevitable. He misread the googly. He shakes his head. It's not because he disagrees with the umpiring decision, I don't think. It's just because he could not fathom Mushtaq Ahmed, and really it was a matter of time before he was going to get it.
Well, he made that cardinal mistake of going forward and then back, not reading his flight in the air or off the wicket as he turned the wrong one and right in front of that wicket. Good piece of bowling by little Mushtaq. Absolutely delighted, and so is the Pakistan team.
So Hilton Ackerman Jr., his second innings in Test match cricket ends in disappointment. LBW to Mushtaq for 11, and South Africa in real trouble at 76 for 4. And it brings the captain Hansie Cronje to the wicket, probably the best player of spin bowling in the South African side, and certainly of leg spin bowling. And what a job he's got on his hands now.
Hudson drive and out, caught mid-off. Good catch. That might have looked quite simple. Trust me, that ball was travelling.
Yes, it was, no doubt about it. And how it has paid in coming bowling over the wicket to Hudson, something that we have been talking about. And Moshe picking up his 4th wicket and once again doing the job for Pakistan. Brilliant catch that was, and I'm sure we'll see. Tossing it up, and Hudson not really on top of it, hitting it very hard, and the ball going low to the fielder at long off, and a very good catch there. Brilliantly caught. I think that's Fazle Akbar. And South Africa losing their 5th wicket for 79.
Let's have one more look. A little bit more flight. Hudson tempted to drive a little bit early on the shot, hit it very firmly. Good catch. Best is 82, and that was against Pakistan and Shoaib Akhtar. Turned the game round, or at least gave South Africa a chance yesterday afternoon in a devastating spell of bowling. There you go. A little bit wide. And 4.
And that's the way he plays, and that's the only way he plays. But I'm sure Mushtaq and the Pakistani team won't mind at this stage of the game, because South Africa is still trailing behind, and it's still got about 172 to win, and they've picked up the 5 wickets, and this one for Mushtaq coming round the wicket, and Pollock picking up 4 runs.
Grunts and groans.
That was very well bowled. Tossing it up, I'm sure it was the wrong one, and Sean Pollock coming right forward, bat well behind his left pad. It only hit the pad, so there's no contact with the bat, but very well bowled.
Believe last ball before tea. You see Cronje busily walking down the wicket to talk with his batting partner. Once again, the session belonged to Pakistan, no doubt about that. Particularly to little Mushtaq Ahmed, who has supplied us with the most beautiful spell of leg spin bowling for us to witness.
This is off the back foot, and it's a beautiful shot, and it's going to beat the solitary man who is out there in the covers and will go to the boundary.
What a start after tea. This fantastic crowd here enjoying it. There haven't been many boundaries in the South African innings. And Pollock giving them room for smiles. 10 boundaries out of the 95 for 5.
It's going to be 4 runs. It was just wide of wicketkeeper Moin Khan, diving away to his left.
Good shot. Really delicate tickle down the leg side. Fine enough so that the fine leg wasn't able to get around. That super touch. Fully intentional. Never a chance and the fine leg some meters away when it hit the boundary, bringing up South Africa's 100. Pollock goes on to 17. 318 balls for that 100 South Africa have taken.
Well, he didn't offer a shot, but I'm sure the umpire couldn't believe that was going to hit the stumps. His pad was well outside the line of the off stump, but remember, because he offered a shot, that is not necessarily a factor.
Yes, he was always pushing away, and the question was whether the googly was going to come back and straighten enough.
This is beautiful shot. What wonderful timing. Is forced away on the onside, back to the square. The two men there, they converge. The fine leg gets there first, and now they'll be able to scramble and overthrow. Well, we've often talked about this. Why do you punish a splendid throw-in from the boundary with the ricochet off the stumps, and they get an extra run against a good bit of fielding?
Well picked off his toes. Fazal running around the fine leg boundary. Two men there, remember. He got there first and flicked it in beautifully. Owen Khan, quite understandably, waiting behind the stumps, but the batsman ever alert.
Well, that's a bad ball, and it is dispatched well by Hansi Cronje. You've got to be patient against Mushtaq. He doesn't bowl too many bad ones. You just got to bide your time, wait, and when you get one like that, make sure you put it away. Caught, going for the hook pull shot there and getting the top edge, and he's caught behind by Moin Khan, and that really is a desperate blow for South Africa and a huge one for Waqar Younis, and the Pakistan players know it.
Also seemed to sit up on Hansi. It was so short, and he was committed to the hook, almost got it on the toe end of the bat because it was so slow in getting up. Delight for the man who's got his first wicket in the innings.
And she's overjoyed, is Moin Khan's wife. Hansi Cronje has gone for 11, and South Africa 114 for 6 now. Mark Boucher, the new batsman, playing in only his 3rd test match, and this is not an easy time for him to have to come to the wicket. So much depends on him now. What a glorious shot from Pollock. His timing is quite remarkable.
Well, there's no better way to fight back when one's been beamed by a fast bowler than to play a stroke like that of such confidence and class. The burst swing was there, and he just timed it away into the gap.
Was he stumped? The umpire is going to call for the 3rd umpire to adjudicate, umpire Rudy Coutts, and he doesn't have to bother. Shaun Pollock is walking, he knows he's gone. He wanted to give Mushtaq the charge there, and he was badly caught out. And I think that's it for South Africa.
Well, down he came, trying to unsettle him, realized that it was wide, tried to get back, but way too late. Well, that light is certainly going to change to red.
There's the red light flashing, but the 3rd umpire didn't really have to bother. He knew he was out. He's 3/4 of the way to the boundary, walking off very slowly. Badly caught out there, rushing down the wicket to him, shaking his head now, and he was left stranded. Another fine bit of bowling by Mushtaq, and I think with the demise of Shaun Pollock, South Africa's hopes have finally gone out of the window. Stumped Moin Khan, bowled Mushtaq for 30, 120 for 7. Lance Klusener is the new batsman. This is why Pollock deciding early to come down the wicket to Mushtaq. He probably saw him coming. He started to move so soon, and when he realized that he was going to be stranded. He tried to scramble back, but he couldn't make it. Quick bit of work by Moin Khan, and although the third umpire was asked to adjudicate, he had walked.
Edged over the top of slip. Hit at it hard enough. It takes a bit of catching, but that was too high at all times. 4 more to Boucher.
Certainly Boucher is a gutsy player. Anything short, he knows that we need runs and he's got to go for it. And he got a top edge and he got over the slips for a 4.
Mushtaq continues. Big appeal, and bye-bye Lance Klusener. Straight forward, pitching outside off stump. Klusener choosing to play back, turns in. He looks from here, would have hit middle and leg. Or whether there was just a hint of an inside edge. I can't claim that there was. Klusener out for 2. South Africa 133 for 8. Fanie de Villiers has got a hole over to face. Well, virtually. That was the first ball of this over. 33 years of age. Age is 17. 67 not out against India. His highest test score. Reverse sweep. And 4 runs.
Fanie has brought life into the spectators. Look at that reverse sweep.
A good example of how to watch the ball. He watched that right onto his bat.
Fanie does get this one away, swings it down to fine leg, and a misfield, goes for 4.
That's sloppy fielding. No matter what situation your team is in, you cannot afford to do that. That's annoying for the bowler. Perfectly executed sweep from Fanie de Villiers. What should have been a single is given away as 4 runs. Fazle Akbar the culprit, and I'm sure that didn't please his captain at all. Once again, Mushtaq getting an outside edge of Mark Boucher's bat.
But this is a bad ball, and it's whipped away for 4 runs. It's full, and even though there's a man on the boundary down there at backwards square leg, he couldn't get round to cut that one off.
If another boundary to Mark Boucher this time. A bad delivery from Amr Sohail, and South Africa getting 4 more runs, going on to 153.
This has gone up high in the air, and he might be caught and is dropped.
Well, that certainly didn't amuse Mushtaq. He has done everything, and Ijaz Ahmed is the culprit this time. And Fanie de Villiers going for the big swing, and Ijaz Ahmed getting both hands to it, but unable to hang on to it.
Not an easy catch this, of course, when they go up so high and they're coming over your shoulder.
Catch it!
Oh, that was been a brilliant catch, that. It would have been absolutely stunning, because he hit that very, very hard indeed. And Rashid Latif, who's on the field as a substitute, what a catch that would have been.
Yes, had that one stuck, that would have been a brilliant catch. Boucher swinging at Amr Sohail, getting hold of it. Shot, beautiful shot for Mark Boucher. In perfect position there, all along the ground. 4 more runs to South Africa.
Come on!
And once again, Boucher may not be hitting as cleanly as it did on the previous delivery, but again finding enough of the bat to pick up 4 more runs.
Oh, this drops just short, would you believe it? So Archer with a little bit of luck there, and at the end of the over.
That's sore. Full toss, and I think that's hit the side of Shortleg's face. Careful.
Oh, one always takes a chance when one is in there so close, and they really were close. But it's a tribute to Mushtaq Ahmed's bowling. That's the first dangerous delivery that he's bowled in 31. Meted the bat again.
Sympathetic round of applause for him as he leaves the field.
Oh, shit!
I agree with you, Mushy. 4 runs.
Well, frustration for him as Fanie de Villiers really collects this one well. He's had enough practice at it. Flies away. Great shot, Fanie. He's on 22 now.
Down the ground. Good place to hit it. 1 bounce 4.
He
Good shot.
picked it beautifully. It was tossed up by Amir Sahel, and he really saw it nicely, went down the wicket and produces a 50 partnership in only 54 minutes. 93 balls with that super shot. And the crowd give very warm applause.
One more to de Villiers. 186 for 8.
Again, he wants the run. Again, the field closes in very quickly and denies him.
Is going to create problems in the mind of not only the bowler but also the Pakistani captain.
Here he goes again. Now, why I believe that there's no real percentage in it at the moment is that when there was a slip in a gully and a forward short and he was crowded by 4 men, there was nobody that was in a short fine leg position when he goes on the reverse sweep. I mean, he's at 3rd man or backward point, but when he plays that, he becomes sort of a short. There he is again, and now he's hammered it very hard indeed, and he's got 4 runs for it. This is quite extraordinary stuff.
It was an amazing shot, and this time Fanie making absolutely sure.
And he certainly is going through the motion. I can't believe that he's going to put him on in place of Mushtaq. Fanie de Villiers drives through the covers on the up. He might not get 4 as Azad just catches up with it, but they've certainly been able to get 3.
As good a shot any batsman would be proud to play on the up, and Fanie de Villiers giving very good support. And this one on the up, the feet may not have been in the right place, but the bat finding the ball was in the middle of the bat and finding the gap, picking up 3 runs. Very important runs for South Africa, these ones.
Mark Boucher decided to warm up by going to the nets. Fanie de Villiers felt that it was quite enough for him just to have somebody throw the ball to him down here on the field and thump it into the advertising board. He has another nice looking shot. This is a squarer one on the offside, and they get 2 this time.
40.
Played this beautifully. This will be 4 runs. Past the bowler, Azhar can chase as much as he likes. He won't haul that one in. That's a magnificent shot from Mark Boucher.
Best shot of the morning.
Agonizing decision to decide whether to take the new ball or put all his trust in Mushtaq, because people often say that the new ball goes faster and quicker to the boundary. Like this one. It's harder, and so when you put back to it, it goes quickly down towards the boundary area, but the man down at third man is square enough to get around and cut it off. 2 runs, 2-1-3 for 8. Plays this beautifully through the covers. On the up, that is a glorious shot from Mark Boucher.
Beautiful shot, and what a way to get his 50. On the up, finding the gap, middling it as well. And that certainly was a magnificent shot, and that acknowledging the applaud and the applause that he's receiving. Nicely placed, finding the gap, and the new ball certainly traveling very fast. Beautiful shot.
Well, he's got a highest first-class score of 80. That was made against Pakistan on this tour when the Pakistanis played in East London against Border, the province that Mark Boucher plays for. He got 78 at the Wanderers, and now 52 not out. His second Test 50. That his 7th boundary. He's batting so sensibly, leaving the ones that he feels too awkward to contend with. When he sees the opportunity to play an aggressive or attacking shot, he seizes it. Bowled in. A tremendous delivery from Waqar Younis, and Mark Boucher has been bowled. The new ball has done its job. There was great pace there from Waqar Younis, and suddenly all quiet in the South African dressing room. Stern looks returned to the faces.
And that's how he got that wicket. Waqar Younis, once again, beautifully plays that seam. You can see it. And Mark Boucher, after scoring his 50, maybe playing across the line there, but what an important wicket for Pakistan. They desperately needed it. And Waqar Younis getting that wicket. Mark Boucher bowled Waqar for 52, and South Africa 219 for 9.
Mark Boucher got out, playing that on the onside, prodigious outswing. Missed it by quite a lot.
Yeah, fine bowling here because he'd been hit for 4 already.
Whipped away by de Villiers, firmly, for 4.
Well, he's now the senior partner. He's taken the cudgels. That was a classy shot. He's played some rather unorthodox ones this morning, but that wasn't. Picked up the line and pushed it through the gap. 32 runs to win. Watch how he tries to hit the ball to mid-on and then loses middle and off.
Swings, misses. On the offside, 2 slips, short mid-wicket. Waqar Younis. Out. Full swinging. Squared Donald up, right on the back foot. And Pakistan win their first Test match against South Africa. And they go 1 up in this 3-test series. Deservedly so at the end of the day. And there's the hero, Mushtaq Ahmed. 6 wickets for him. Played his part. Wonderful 100 in the first innings, 132. Syed Anwar, classy 100 in the second innings. And Waqar Younis, the senior pace bowler, wraps it up.
Yes, Pakistan winning by 30 runs in the end. A great fight back by the South African tail. This one swinging, and a brilliant delivery from Waka Yunus. This is why he's got well over 200 test wickets, lots of experience, and Alan Donald just not up to it. Why should he be? He's number 11. It's one of Mervyn Kitchen's easier decisions to make. So South Africa losing the second test. Now the series is gone. They can only draw it, and a well-deserved win by Pakistan, allowing Mushtaq Ahmed and Waka Yunus to lead the team off the field.
Much conjecture there already has been over the selection of the South African side, whether it was wise to go in with no spinner, which committed them basically to bowling first if they won the toss. That's been another talking point. Do you take on one of the world's top leg spinners on the fourth and fifth day, when you have the opportunity not to do so? That was the final movement from umpire Kitchen, and as Lee Irvin said, not a difficult one. That wouldn't have missed off, and it wouldn't have missed leg. It would have hit middle stump all on its own. Celebrations from the Pakistan team, grabbing a stump. Deserved winners. But who would have thought that they would have got as close as that? South African second innings. Kirsten 25, Baka LBW for naught. What South Africa really needed was a start of some kind. Partnership of about 70 would have been absolutely ideal launching pad. And Cullis played nicely again, albeit that Mushtaq tied him up by bowling around the wicket into the rough. HT Ackerman a little bit at sea against the wily leg spinner. Finally fell to him, didn't read the googly. Hudson played a positive shot to be well caught by Fazal at mid-off. And Cronje and Pollock put together a bit of a partnership. Pollock, being almost the senior partner, played beautifully before running down the wicket and missing one off Mushtaq. And then a really gutsy effort from Mark Boucher, supported by Fanie de Villiers, who played an unorthodox innings, to say the least, but very, very effective. Partnerships that we looked at only moments ago: 40 Kirsten and Cullis, 27 Ackerman and Hudson, Cronje and Pollock 35, and then 86, the one that threatened for a while, but it wasn't to be.
Waka Yunus executing the coup de grace with his third wicket. He struggled in the match for wickets. The other man, Fazal, coming in with another one. He was effective opening the bowling, rather surprisingly ahead of Shoaib, who was always impressive, always very, very fast, but the man of the match was Mushtaq. 37 overs again, 13 of them maidens and 6 for 78, and that was what broke the back of the South African batting. Azhar and Amir were bit players with 11 and 7 overs, but no reward.
So the final results: Pakistan won by a fairly narrow margin of 29 runs, albeit that they always looked in control from about, almost from South Africa, beginning of South Africa's innings. As soon as they got that early breakthrough, they looked in control from there on, and Mushtaq Ahmed gave us a really good lesson, all of us who were